They called this mission impossible long before the horizon swallowed every beacon of light. Yet when humanity stands on the brink of oblivion, stubborn defiance becomes its greatest weapon. This is the story of the day we stared into the abyss, carved a path through its heart, and emerged reborn. Captain Reyes's hand hovered over the console, every fiber of her body vibrating like a tuned string. On every screen, the black hole's maw expanded, an impossibly dark void edged by a ring of plasma hotter than 1,000 suns. The Artemis 7 trembled as if protesting its own audacity. 100 kilometers out, Lieutenant Zhang's voice cut through the tension, steady but with a tremor only grief could disguise. The ship's shields strained against tidal forces that tried to tear Star Steel apart. Sensors flickered. The edge of the event horizon beckoned with insatiable appetite. Yet each crew member clung to a single truth. Beyond this boundary lay the only hope for rewriting cosmic law. The low hum of the quantum slip drive thrusters was the only melody left as human ingenuity and raw courage converged. "Brace for ingress," Reyes said. As the ship crossed the threshold, reality bent around them, gravity twisting space into an impossible mirror. Every instrument warbled under the pressure, but the human spirit held firm. In that moment, falling meant rising, falling into nothingness to claw back our future. Alarms shattered the heavy silence. Reactor core temperature soared beyond protocol. Dr. Neone shoved past rattling bulkheads, her breath ragged. "We're burning through fusion cells," she gasped. Around her, the ship's interior warped like melting metal under unseen waves. Every corridor felt like a submerged tunnel, water-dark and claustrophobic. Each step rang out hollow, reminding them of the void pressing in from all sides. Engineers fought to reroute power, but the leak was a wound too deep. Fuel readouts spiraled toward zero. Lieutenant Harper's face, half lit by a dying console glow, held a question no one wanted answered. How much time? Dr. Neone closed her eyes, swallowing heat and fear. Minutes. The word floated through the corridor like a death sentence. Outside, the singularity's shape shifted, a living puzzle. Surrounding light bent into an endless spiral. In the flicker of emergency lamps, the crew saw their own faces flicker and fragment. This was the moment to surrender, and they refused. In the shadow of infinity, humanity's heartbeat thundered louder than cosmic collapse. In the bowels of Artemis 7, Dr. Vasquez worked against her own fatigue. The prototype slip drive she'd scavenged from cold storage was never meant for rescue missions. It was a demonstration piece, a relic of pre-crash ambitions. She tapped at a fragmented line of code, eyes flicking over equations that danced like fireflies on a dark pond. "If I can invert the mass flux parameters," she muttered, voice raw with exhaustion, "we might push gravity outward instead of letting it crush us." Around her, the engine bay throbbed, lights pulsing in time with a buried heartbeat. Sparks scattered across the grated floor as technicians redistributed coolant reserves. Every second saw pressure readings spike. The black hole's tidal warps began to shear metal supports. Still, Vasquez's fingers flew. She recalled childhood nights tracing fractal patterns of lightning storms, each bolt a lesson in unleashed potential. In a final stroke, she input the revised algorithm. The fusion matrix flared, swelling into white brilliance. A ripple of force radiated outward, bending space in the opposite direction. The core shuddered in delight. Crew faces at the viewport twisted from dread to disbelief. For an instant, gravity reversed. The hole's pull became a push. A second later, the ship lurched free. The stabilization matrix sang with unstable power. Vessel tremors rattled bulkheads as systems strained to channel the reversed gravitational wave. "We need to jettison mass or the flux will overload," Lieutenant Harper announced. The hangar bay's silence swallowed every word. Before them floated the small, automated shuttle, Artemis Shunt, crucial for the return jump, but now a dangerous anchor. Captain Reyes's jaw clenched. "It's empty," she said. Officer Patel shook his head. "Not anymore." He passed her a helmet, voice unsteady. "I'll steer it clear." A hush fell. Nearby hearts thudded in time with the reactor's pulse. Patel stepped toward the shuttle, each footstep echoing finality. Dr. Nyoni's tears glistened in the red glow. "It's suicide," she whispered. Patel's helmet clicked shut. Better one life than all. He sealed the hatch and engaged manual autopilot. The shuttle's engines flickered to life. Conveyor clamps released. He saluted the crew through the viewport, a single gesture of hope. And then Artemis shunt peeled away, accelerating into the quaking void. The reactor lights soared to white, and Patel became the fulcrum of salvation, vanishing into the black swirl so the rest might survive. Freed from its heaviest burden, Artemis 7 quivered on the edge of uncharted physics. Dr. Vasquez monitored the flux gauge, breath caught between hope and desperation. "Gravity inversion holding at 70%, she reported. Outside the viewport, space seemed to peel apart, a spiral staircase of distorted starlight leading home. Engines engaged, sending a shockwave through the hull. Every panel thrummed, as if the ship itself exulted in the impossible. Lieutenant Zhang gripped a railing, face pressed to glass. "We're moving," she gasped. The vessel surged forward, riding the inverted gravitational tide like a shipborne surfer. Time dilated. Moments stretched into eternity. In the rippling light, they glimpsed echoes of cosmic history, the birth of stars, colliding galaxies, dancing comets, each a testament to creation's stubborn echo. The horizon ahead brightened, not with flames, but with the gentle wash of normal space reclaiming its shape. Systems stuttered, corrected, and then roared back to life. Artemis 7 pulled free of the singularity's grasp. For a heartbeat, the universe held its breath. The craft emerged into soft daylight. No alarms, no tremors, only the muted hum of a star rising behind a distant planet. Captain Reyes exhaled, voice thick. "Home." Eyes turned to the viewport, where Earth glowed like a promise kept. A trillion tiny circuits across ground stations picked up their signal, a ripple of hope traveling faster than any light beam. On the bridge, tears gleamed in every eye, each drop embodying a whispered vow, never again to fear the unknown. The void they crossed was not a tomb, but a crucible. Humanity stepped beyond cosmic chains and proved that solidarity, sacrifice, and sheer will could outshine even the darkest abyss. The galaxy heard our cry and stepped aside. In the glow of dawn, Artemis 7 carried not just survivors, but a legend. They came not to conquer, but to remind the stars who lit the fire first. On that day, a handful of humans tore themselves from oblivion and gifted every world a vow, never doubt the miracle of hope.